What's up, everybody? I'm back, man. Listen, let's talk about this because we're not talking about this enough, and I think it is one of our biggest driving factors in the way we think about dating and even in life itself, right? So I keep seeing different podcasts and different, social media trends about dating. Also, the war between men and women, something that I wish we could stop. But let's talk about something because I had an interesting conversation over the weekend, and that conversation led me to truly also, see the other side of just how vastly different everybody sees life, love, and relationships. Okay, now that's some things I want to talk about because I feel like we're losing for those who are truly seeking organic relationships. The reason it's become a lost art amongst humans because we are suffering from living ourselves inside our own mental matrix of what companionship is. For starters, there are too many men and women who think that they are bigger than the connection. You know, they think they are bigger than two people who are passionate about in particular things in their own life, but also want to share that experience with someone that they are attracted to, right? I find it far too easy for women in our society to sit back and be like what the man should do, X, Y, and Z. And I find a lot of times you see a lot of men who they may have reached a stage in their life where, and let me tell you, young brother, something, man, you can spend your life, you can, especially if you're young, you can spend your whole entire young adulthood trying to date, and it can truly exhaust you mentally, but most importantly, financially. You know, that's something that's not talked about, especially in 2026, where the expectation is you got to pay me to talk to me mentality. That's literally what's going on. Let's call it what it is. That's exactly what's going on. Or if you don't have to pay me to talk to me, you have to be up my ass and damn near basically stalking me in order for this to be a thing. You know, now what I mean by that is the lack of reciprocity amongst human beings is what's destroying the idea, or should I say, the beautifulness of dating and companionship, or companionship in general. Because dating is not hard. It's easy to find someone to go out with, hang out with, to sleep with. That's easy, easy. And however you do that is to each his own. you know, um, but reciprocity. What happened to reciprocity? You know, I think far too much. I think we have men and women who are living inside their own mental matrix. A man has an idealism of what a woman should look like and how she should be, and this in turn is not going to stop the man from trying to sleep with a woman, right? But it does slow him down based off of his delivery with um, his intentions. And I think the same dysfunction has been injected into women as well, to where you have to look a certain way. You have to be a certain height. You have to be a certain skin complexion. You have to look a certain way for a woman to give reciprocity back. You know, because trust and believe. What's crazy about dating is that so ultimately at the end of the day, what one person understands about life, another person may be completely off into a whole different matrix in their own mindset. Now, before I get into a conversation that I've seen this weekend, I want to make this short, make this quick, because yeah, I gotta record quick here, to make sure I get everything in here fine and okay. But the importance of communication in a relationship, like, I mean, communication is linked to higher levels of satisfaction in romantic relationships. I mean, if y'all not communicating, if y'all not talking to each other, if you're not being, if you're not giving reciprocity, and hell, do we need to go into the definition of what the hell reciprocity is? I mean, we gotten to a point in society where this shit is basic. So where did we go wrong? What's going on here, man? Like reciprocity, man and woman, period. Mutual interest and effort is crucial for long-term satisfaction. The reason why these relationships are so microwave is because there's one side that's holding it up. One side giving, one side taking. No, there's no balance. You know, and when you reach a certain age, like that shit sound all fun and games, pursuit, chase, hunt, like words like that. That sounds attractive to women, but that shit only cute when you in your 20s. When you have bills, responsibilities, mortgages, insurances, car notes, all this. You have all of these other type of responsibilities, children. But you know what's crazy about that? They'll neglect their children before they neglect the car note. Um, but let me not go there right now. But listen, where did we get to a point to where reciprocity should no longer exist amongst human beings? That's the reason why so many relationships, whether they're romantic relationships or personal relationships, have fallen apart and gone astray. No one is being considered of the other person anymore because most people are thinking they are bigger than a union. They are bigger than the relationship. They are bigger than the connection, and you are not. You are not bigger than that. Self-awareness. Like, what are your own needs? Where are your values? Those things they lead to more meaningful communications. Listen, I was having a conversation this weekend, and I had made a statement that, so look, I've been basically on and off with dating for about 8 years, and a person made a statement to me as if like I'm fucking doing something wrong, like, oh, if you desire to have this, you should be right now dating someone. Like, what? Yo, please. And I had to remind them that I'm 45 years old. I got way more experience than you think. But you took me telling you that I've been on that peace and tranquility journey for about a total of 8 years mentally, sharpening my mental focus, sharpening my interpersonal skills, sharpening my communication skills, you know, restructuring and putting things in my life back together, mentally and physically. That you took me telling you that I've dated on and off for about 8 years as if, oh, if you want a wife, you need to be up somebody's ass right now. Yo, yo. Bad. But let's go for it, man. Let's keep it moving though. But once again, and that's what I mean about reciprocity, and communication, because when you lack comprehension skills, it can truly, when you lack the basic comprehension, you know, you can truly lose focus or lose sight on what truly matters. And so the self awareness to me, as I spoke on that, is about knowing where the hell you are. Like if you're not ready for if we all know what we truly desire. We all know where we are personally in our life. Okay? If if you meet someone, and this goes for man and woman, because here's the thing, I think women should also have the same mindset as men. Not that Steve Harvey bullshit, but the aspect of when you see a man or you start communicating with a man, or when he starts communicating with you, reach out to you to get to know you, there should be, first and foremost, a level of observation up front. Okay, do I want to get to know this gentleman? And if you want to get that know that guy, you have to give reciprocity. You know, on the second hand, you should also be able to look at that person, talk with them, communicate with them, and within a short period of time, say to yourself, you know what, I can see this building into something. I can see myself with this person. Just like we believe that a man should know, a woman should know too. But that's another conversation for another day because listen, that has a lot of flaws to that statement. But that's not spoken on in its true totality. But most importantly, the power of being intentional. Okay. So as I was mentioning this to that person, what they failed to dissect was I am moving with intention. I am focused on intention, not body counts and numbers and how many women I can bag and date. Please. Because if you're truly looking for a partner, being a serial dater is not the key. That is not the answer. Because when you are in a serial dating is to me is just like an addiction. You know, you have no pure intentions. It's all about numbers. It's all about a numbers game for you. It's all about how you can self fulfill yourself with how many people that you can get to know, and in most cases with a lot of men, how many women you can sleep with. Listen, because you got married men in a dating pool. I ain't lying to you. And I'm talking about like dating. Yeah, yeah, make it make sense. Same way I said. But dating with a purpose is understanding your own values and what you want from a partner. If you have clarity, it makes the dating process so much smoother. I swear it does. When you have clarity in your own life. Because and that clarity, listen, clarity will help you with communication. Because what you in turn would do is you would take your own clarity, your own values, and it will encourage you to ask questions, ask questions, ask questions, and not those misleading questions. I'm talking about intentional questions. We all know what misleading questions are, right? Where you ask person, what's your body count? How many people you've been with in life? You know, X, Y, and Z. Those things are foolish. Although they have some levels of merit, right? Because if your value is I'm not sleeping with no OnlyFans model, I'm not marrying no OnlyFans model or person, I don't date people in the adult industry, then you need to know what kind of profession that you do. What are some, what are the things that you are into? You have to ask those questions, you know. But the question of body count is immature. Now, I'm gonna say that thought for my last final statement, because I'm gonna tell you about something I heard over the weekend. Now, here's the thing that women gonna love a lot, because they harp on this like tenfold. Action. Clarity, gives you um, courage for action, right? But when it comes to action, you have to still be reflecting on your own desires and boundaries. Listen, pure intentions, action, you know what I'm saying? They go hand in hand. You cannot shy away from tough conversations early. You got to ask there's some tough questions that you have to ask, especially when you hear them in a conversation, or a person gives you too much information. You have to have those tough conversations early. You just do. Period. And so those things in general, what will make those tough conversations easy is your emotional availability. You know what I'm saying? You got to be willing to open up. You got to be willing to share your true self. You know, you got to be willing to, even if it's something in your past that you may have been embarrassed about, if the conversation leads to where you think it's going to provide clarity for the next person, you need to have that emotional availability. You need to say it. You need to speak it, no matter how it makes you look. You get what I'm saying? No matter how it makes you look. Because at the end of the day, if you pretend, that in turns, because look, what's in the dark eventually comes to light. And so if you pretend to hide something, or you purposely not give out certain information, when it comes out, that delivery of it coming out may not go as smoothly as you thought it should, or think it would. Now listen, all those things I stated was in the cusp of what I was delivering to this person about. Look, I don't move like that. I don't see 20 different women and feel I need to be with all 20 women. I do not serial date. We don't we don't play those games over here like that. So because of that, it takes time. You know what I'm saying? And what's crazy about it is that there were so many different ways that conversation could have went with me and that individual, but because of my emotional intelligence and my ability to be like, okay, I'm already observing what you don't say. I'm picking up what you are into in general. So listen, and it's one of the main reasons that the dating process can be so slim and slow for a lot of people, because you may not even get to a first date or a second date. And if you don't even get to a third date, that you're not even dating. That's not dating. A first date is not a date. That's a meet and greet, technically. You get what I'm saying? And until you've surpassed a certain process and things are on a mutual interest, you're not dating. You're not dating. If one person is the only person calling, communicating, and connecting, y'all not dating. And so here's what's happening in our world today as well. That type of process is recycling itself, where No matter where you meet a person, no matter where you meet them at, y'all may communicate for 3 or 4 days, even if you're talking on the phone and have great conversation, but just that spark, that passion, that the questions may be, and passion and all those things come across in the questions you ask too. Like your true passion, your true intentions, your intentions come across through your questions that you ask a person. Like if you're vague, if you're like, no, I'm gonna let you let the other person do the most talk and all of that kind of stuff, then yeah, there's nothing there. Period. Because mutual interest and mutual connection, mutual passion, it will flow naturally. So dating is not hard at all. It is the lack of reciprocity and passion amongst human beings in our society. We have gotten to a place where we think we are bigger than a connection, and we are not. I'm not bigger than me finding a life partner. That union is bigger than me being me by myself as an individual. That union is bigger and more powerful. The places it takes us, spiritually, mentally, everywhere, sexually, the places it takes us past what you would be doing on your own. It doesn't replace it. No, it doesn't replace your own personal, like hobbies and interests. No, but it connects to it and it builds it. It expands your overall connection and everything else about you. Y'all seen the stories and you've heard like small stories here and there where a person just having the right partner, it elevates their craft. It elevates, you know, what what they may have struggled with alone because they will have their own mental solitude to where they will have to deal with their own doubts and deal with their own failures and feel like, oh, they give up. That partner comes in and said, no, you got this, keep doing it, I support you. They give them words of affirmation. Not only that, but just their physical touch, that partner being there to hold them, to touch them and talk to them, listen to them through their difficulties and say, yo, you got it, you got it, we got this. That mental load, a lot of women with children, like there's a lot that's pushed in the back burner for women with children. A lot of the passions, a lot of the interests, that's pushed to the back because they have to focus on the kids. So but look here, y'all. Let me cut this short, man. Now, let me go ahead and close this out. But my point is, I'm gonna start another episode on this one. This is gonna do a part two. I'm gonna have to close this one out right here because listen, I got to be able to sit and record and give you guys this uncut truth for this here. But listen, at this point, what are we doing? If you're not giving reciprocity, if you don't have a mutual interest in that person, if you're just waiting for the gift and the gift and the gab, you're waiting for a person to do more for you than you've done for yourself. You willing for them to try to save you from your own mental anguish. Stop that shit right now and let that person go and be happy. Real talk. Because if you don't have a mutual interest or a mutual passion, if you don't have that, you are wasting their time and your time. If you are an individual where for you brothers out there, if you out for a little piece of ass, listen, man, you don't have to spend hours on the phone with nobody just for no play like that. Dude, there's plenty of ways to get that. There's they out here selling it like hotcakes, bro. So if you just want to play around and play in the streets and just get a little action, man, there's places you can go for that and take your ass there and do it. Stop playing with people. Same for you sisters. If you need a sugar daddy, you need somebody. If you need a sugar daddy, you need somebody to pay your way, pay your bills, pay this, that, and the third. Look, feed your kids. You know, if you need somebody just to give you money, if that's what you're looking for, hey, there's places that you can go for that. There's websites that you can sign up for that. There's all kinds of shit that you can do for that. Leave genuine people alone. Because I promise you, just like you are into the things that you're into and the mindset that you have, you already know it's not good. You already know it's immoral, and ultimately the universe will repay you back for how you plan with people. But most importantly, man, if you are on one foot in, one foot out, pick a side, all right? And go for what you know. Much love. Hey, I'm your host, Sam J. This is another episode of Black Men Suits Urban Nation Uncut Truth. Stay tuned for one of my short videos. I'm going to talk about some things I ran across this weekend in the same conversation. And we're just going to have a little fun with it. Talk to y'all later. Much love.